What up? Schmoedown rockers, and yeah, I figured I'd do this before collision starts up, and two losses. One I was hoping we wouldn't have, but either way, but it would have been nicer to just had some points. But luckily, given it was a tight enough match, there was no way we were gonna be down a point or anything like that. So far, we're doing all right. It's just a matter of how the tournament season's gonna go over, because the last win we wound up, I think, getting was unfortunately David Del Rio at this point. So it's possible he might wind up in the tournament on our end. Hopefully it works out itself out. But I think if not, then that just sucks, and it's like was worth it for the one win, I guess. But But anyways, yeah, Hoey, you did fine, man. I mean, you kind of figured you would take a loss, but as long as it didn't take a hit, the dungeon itself didn't take a complete hit with like a negative, with giving them a satisfaction of a -1 or anything like that. Thank you for that. And twice Wits happened to do things for Kaiser, and it's not looking good on his end, since he did do well with Vinny though last year, but it's just a shame it's not. It seems that what happening with him is starting to translate into our dungeon, and it's with his own matches, and it's a shame to see that be the case. At least in terms of round ones. Yikes. But I mean, I don't think Hoey's in the tournament. I think it's the only one we have is Molly, and yeah, he's got that. Good for you, but I really didn't want my dungeon to lose, because it's a possibility Alex will pull it off. But if Alex don't and Molly pulls it, it's going to be the biggest upset, and one I kind of will gladly see happen. And how are they doing this tournaments? Are they starting up all of them and are just separating them out, or what? How are they doing this? Because clearly the singles tournament's going to be the big one, because of how, I don't know if they're going to do nearly as many as they did last season. Oof. I think they are, because it's like 4 players again, so yeah, it's going to be a huge one again. But I just don't know as to whether, and there's no brackets. I don't know why they didn't do that for us. Why did they start tournament season and none of us got a chance to bet on anything with the brackets? So, which I find baffling to me. Also, but which I did love and thought it was a solid match between Jen Kemp and Horowitz. And Horowitz is, given the way Horowitz is playing, I kind of figured, but Jen put up enough of a fight. Thank goodness. It's just a shame she ain't gonna be able to do much unless pop quiz is a thing. But but I think it all depends with final exam and with the midterms, if he wants to bring the midterms back in or not. Because they weren't terrible either, but I don't know. I mean, that might be the only way we're going to see Jen Kemp play again this season. Luckily, she got a lot more to play, and even do so in singles at the very least. I'm guessing she might do Inner Geekdom, possibly, again. But we shall see with that. But congrats to Horowitz. Congrats to the usual suspects. As a man with a hat, I hate that your hat game is going against my dungeon. It was not cool. Not cool. And PJ, you will be getting a box of rocks from me. Eventually. Okay, I'm kidding, but you get... You knew I had to take a shot since Box is one of the big things on your channel, dude. So, but other than that, I mean, your clearly the questions are going up, and it's the one thing that's, I guess, keeping some people interested. I don't know. And then having that conversation, it's always like when it gets to that point in a conversation about it, I kind of don't want. I kind of feel like I should check out with that part because it just comes across as depressing when it comes to talking about the Schmoedown in that regard, and I don't think anybody wants to come back because there's too many people that have a certain scarring about it. I guess that they don't want to come back. It's not. He doesn't have the money, and it's not like what's happened before. And I don't know. But I hope uh, things go over well with at least Collision at this point, especially when we get to finally see our first studio match in a long time, since sadly it was the Zipper Howard match. That was the last match we had to see in studio last year, and now this year we finally I think we're gonna get to see uh, the first matches be this Collision thing, and I don't know how it's gonna go because it's been a while with that. Hopefully, I want Dan to retain and pull the win, so the dungeon ain't at a massive loss at this point. Because I don't know how Dan will do in a tournament in singles. Because he hasn't done well. Of course, he won't have to worry about facing Ethan because that was what happened last time. So that'll be out of the question. But we shall see. Um, but I think we need to have this one win so we can still maintain at the very least in the faction running. So, but now it's going to be to where there's not going to be as many people, which sucks. But now that they're giving FCL a lot more to deal with to have, but it's also but the way they're set up right now, I don't know how they're going to FCL is going to expand to be able to accommodate for all those people to be on it. Plus, since it's on Twitch, it's going to take forever to finally get to see those matches happen. So, I'm looking forward to the way of course I'm going to be pulling for Merle. It's the only thing dungeon right now that I'm having to pull for, and that of the whole thing right now. So, but I get if some people would rather see Aaron win just so we can have an extra grudge match. But by that point, will it even matter? Matter if Dan doesn't plow through the tournament if he loses, or at this point Ben, which apparently he's supposed to be facing Perry Nemiroff from what I'm hearing. So I don't. I'm hoping that what happens he doesn't have a Mike Kalinowski situation, because let's face it, Mike literally screwed himself out of a literal shot at the title, which he could have wound up winning. And he's never been able to come back since, and that Perry thing hurt even more. I know that screwed his chances of actually being triple belted, and now he's got an even longer way to climb. And sorry, Mike, but I mean, maybe he might have another shot if he bothered to, but he's not going to bother to. He's too busy wanting to stick with the ones he's good at. He's been excelling at in both which has been teams and in, and Corruption and Shazam have been the only teams that have been consistent, and but it seems Shazam has been way more consistent, and I'd rather have them because I think Corruption is still pretty high up there right now. I know Crooked kind of are, but I don't think them winning yet will actually. Well, it all depends on how if Dimalanta wins and then Shazam wins, then it's not going to look good. Then they may be a little higher than Corruption. So I don't know in the standings. So, and I think it's about to come on too. So, and then there's the other matches that are most of it's going to be pre-tape probably. Though except for probably the live studio matches, I think aren't pre-taped, but it does take away from it when it's not actually live. So but I'm starting to think the student studio one might actually be, so it might still work itself out. So, but I think from what I'm hearing, guessing Smith may not be able to, may put up a good enough fight, but I don't think he'll beat Marisol. I'd like him to, but I don't think it'll happen, and Marisol might actually eventually be like the first. Could be one of the first women that actually finally gets the singles belt, because I don't think there's been any ladies that have won that title yet. There's been some close calls, which happened to have been twice in a row, which were clearly Clark Wolf and Rachel Cushing. I don't think there were. I mean, and Liz Shannon Miller, though, came kind of close into it with a number one contendership, but it never got blossomed in anything. So, but yeah, I'm a little bummed about it. But I'm hoping we're still maintained first, at least I'm hoping we need which makes me believe we need the win in order to make sure we get the lead again. With those 7 points, so we at least need to have that happen, and then Ben needs to go on a tear in the tournament to even and to get to that belt, and so does Dungeon Zone and Danger Zone and Parker. Are the ones, and it's a shame Morrow's not going to be able to, and it bums me out even more, which makes what's happened with these losses just suck even more, and it's just wasn't a good week to be Dungeon. Tournament wasn't a bad start. It was a solid enough match, but yeah, overall, I mean, I at least like that we weren't, we're putting more of enough of a fight that we weren't gonna at least lose anything in terms of points. So that's a positive, and given the extra little points I think the tournament's gonna have, yeah, we're gonna definitely need those wins in that for sure, because tournament season has usually found a way to bite us in the butt. However, we were lucky the Danger Zone did as well as they did in their little mini tournament, but now hopefully the Ultimate Schmoedown we do really well. I don't know who we're going to face, but fingers crossed about it. But anyways, and let's just hope they do better in round ones, because that was rough. Especially if Wet's going to be the one holding the fort down for now until Kaiser can show up a little bit more. Which also, that No Chill episode was funny. Very funny. Good job. Good job, y'all. Anyways, what did you think of the matches? What are your predictions? Well, by the point I release this, it probably would not matter, since now that I know that's public, I'm going to be able to talk about. I'm going to have 2 of them up. I'm going to have this, and then whatever happens post Collision, I'll probably put up as well. So, I think I might have been spoiled a couple of the matches, thanks to Mark Ellis's little thing in a previous match, singles match commentary. But anyways, what do you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, like the like button with the rest if you must. Hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell for all, so you can get all of them. Also, link in the description to other Facebook pages. Like and follow me there. Also, go join the dungeon page as well. You'll find me around there as your Dungeon Master Tyler. And as always, just keep your hand, keep your real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown rocks, sound entertainment, so on and so forth, it is cooking. Also, home of the five time. The dungeon's the current home of the current, as of this video at least. Hopefully in later videos, five-time singles champion, Dangerous Dan Burrell. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Because as far as I'm concerned, ooh, yeah, dig it.